Chapter 81 explodes into cosmic intensity as Malekith, caught in a warped force field, finds himself completely paralyzed, his senses cranked to unbearable extremes by the eerie glow of the Mind Stone orbiting Alex. Every touch becomes agony as Alex calmly unleashes a raw surge of energy, disintegrating Malekith's body in slow, soul-searing clarity while denying him even the release of a scream. With a subtle smirk, Alex shifts his hand and the entire warship collapses into nothingness, debris vanishing into the void. Then, sensing a shift, he turns toward Jane Foster, where the reverse curse technique finally tears the ether particles from her body in a flowing stream of deep red. As Jane falls unconscious, Alex heals her instantly before channeling the curse's full might toward the corrupted particles, sealing this moment as a turning point in the chaos of collapsing logic. As the ether particles lost their host, Alex's sheer presence pulled them inward, their chaotic force sharpening into raw potential. In seconds, a glowing red gem crystallized at his fingertip, the Reality Stone, pulsing with infinite energy and the terrifying ability to rewrite what is. Without hesitation, Alex absorbed its force, triggering a rapid cascade through his system. Energy points +1, flashing like a warning siren as his power surged. The system roared to life, climbing past 10% fusion, then halting at 13% just as his body strained to hold it all. But that wasn't all. With the threshold crossed, the system unleashed a new force. Unknown wings, black, and jet black wings burst from Alex's back, warping space around him. His mind snapped into clarity, calculations flowing like lightning. He wasn't just evolving, he was becoming something else entirely. Alex's vector manipulation surged to new heights, fused now with a power once alien to him, Gojo's limitless technique now enhanced and fully his. As black wings unfurled from his back dents, defined and entirely under control, Alex felt no trace of the berserk fury that plagued others before him. Even at level 1, these wings radiated potential, hinting at evolutions yet to come. White, colorless, platinum, and the final abyss. In a sonic boom of force, Alex pierced the skies of Asgard, crashing back into the chamber where time bent around gods. Before him stood an aged titan, pulsing with power barely contained within his fragile frame, his energy eclipsing even the Sorcerer Supreme. Jane, safe in Alex's arms, was swiftly embraced by Thor, gratitude crackling in his voice as he hailed Alex not just as savior, but as Asgard's eternal ally. Alex smirked coolly. "No thanks needed. This was business. Don't expect a bargain next time." As Thor opened his mouth, King Odin stepped forward, his voice rich with awe. "Astounding. Your strength nearly rivals mine and it's still rising. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were born from a higher realm." Odin saw in Alex a boundless force, a being with potential vast enough to shake single universe ceilings. With gravitas he commanded, "Bring forth the 3 treasures." Soldiers entered, bearing artifacts of legendary power, the eternal flame pulsing endlessly, the casket of ancient winters exuding icy might, and the infinity gauntlet gleaming with forged divinity. With a rare softness, Odin turned to Alex. "These are your due. Deal or not, you saved us. Midgard's warrior, you'll forever be honored as one of Asgard's own." Realizing that neutralizing Alex could backfire catastrophically, they turned to S.H.I.E.L.D. For a fragile alliance, but during their uneasy contact, Druig's mind control scan revealed something chilling. Every agent was being remotely influenced by a psychic force so immense, so raw, that even he, an Eternal, couldn't stand against it. Shaken and without answers, they knew one thing for sure: the alliance was off, and something far more terrifying was now in play. Just when their revenge seemed impossible, a green-skinned figure with an oversized head burst into view, endlessly ranting about the crimes of the white-haired mutant and offering an alliance. Druig's mental scan confirmed the stranger's story was laced with deception, but his hatred for their target was genuine. Calling himself the leader, this mysterious being provided them with customized weaponry built to nullify the white-haired mutant's power and ensured a final fallback. Mutual disintegration. Fueled by this new edge, they launched their pursuit. Elsewhere, within the cold walls of a military base, Colonel Stryker and 3 doctors, including a certain elastic genius, monitored the operation from orbit. Though aligned with the Eternals, their motives differed. Where the Eternals saw a target to erase, the observers understood the true depth of the white-haired mutant's cosmic threat. Their advanced tech suppressors, dimensional disruptors, and matter-erasing blades were not just weapons, but warnings. Their calculations were chilling. Even if each Eternal fought at peak strength and activated their most extreme tactics with external support, their chance of victory was still only a flicker in the void. They unleashed everything they had. But even their ultimate fallback couldn't neutralize him. Their true mission? Test their upgraded tech against the elusive white-haired mutant gather data, refine it, and push Red Hulk to new extremes. This was the endgame. In all simulations, the Eternals were destined to burn through their very essence for one purpose: extract the purest data. For these hypergenius tacticians, data wasn't just numbers, it was raw, unmatched power. Knowledge wasn't symbolism, it was survival. Meanwhile, Alex strode calmly toward the ocean, halting half a thousand kilometers from his villa to shield it from the incoming chaos. Standing effortlessly on the sea's surface, he watched as the bizarre ship halted in midair, defying physics like it didn't care. From it, a woman in green armor teleported down, landing with eerie calm. The moment her feet touched the water, transformation erupted waves, froze into stone, spreading outward in an instant, reshaping the ocean into a brand new island fortress beneath her command. Circe, the matter-shaping Eternal, conjured an island from nothing, but what followed was a storm of power descending from the stars. Athena, forging energy into weapons. Sprite, the trickster illusionist. Makari, the streak of lightning. Gilgamesh, a titan of might. Kingo, blasting with cosmic fury. Phastos, the hammer-bearing architect. Druig, whispering into minds. And Ajax, the healer and their voice. Sent by the Celestials to shield humanity and ignite the birth of a new god, these Eternals were avatars of unimaginable force capable of shattering worlds, overwhelming even the likes of Thanos. For eons, they fought alone, felling deviants in silence. But now, united, they faced a lone mutant, Alex, who stood calm as if the universe bowed to him, not the other way around. Ajax, solemn and furious, declared his judgment. But Alex, with a smirk carved from truth, fired back. Weren't they just repeating code, mind-wiped marionettes of ancient masters? The Eternals froze not by power, but by knowledge. Somehow, this mutant held secrets they themselves had forgotten. Druig's eyes widened as Ajax's expression shifted. Truth hit like a thunderclap. But before he could speak, Ajax cut him off cold. After we neutralize him, I'll explain everything. With no time to waste, she triggered the leader's spatial disruption device, warping the ship's interior with chaotic dimensional pulses meant to throw Alex off balance. The mutant suppression tech followed, weaving interference into his every breath. Blades of shimmering light flared into their hands, each charged to disintegrate anything in their path. Alex, caught mid-thought, immediately felt the storm frequencies dancing out of sync, breaking his internal rhythm, destabilizing his energy just as he adjusted. His six eyes flickered with rapid calibration, but each recalibration shattered in the next breath. No pattern, no predictability, just chaos. And yet, amid the turmoil, one thought crackled electric through Alex's mind. Whoever engineered these devices knew his every move. And if he could ever meet the mind behind them, perhaps even bend it with the Mind Stone, that would be quite the twist. At Ajax's silent signal, the Eternals surged as one toward Alex Makari, blazing first with lightsaber in hand, her velocity a blur even Six Eyes could barely follow. Yet, as she neared, a black-red singularity erupted, flinging her through sky and sea like a comet cracking reality itself. Without pause, Gilgamesh unleashed a golden, cosmic-charged fist, while Athena forged a spear sharp enough to cut starlight, both aiming to strike where Alex stood, his limitless technique flickering under spatial interference. But Alex didn't flinch. With chilling calm, he extended two fingers, each birthing a singularity so dense the incoming blows meant to break gods simply vanished into their own futility, swallowed by Paradox Incarnate. A blast of raw energy surged through the battlefield, but instead of being harmed, Alex absorbed it effortlessly, his body glowing with surreal, Paradox-born power. The Eternal Warriors staggered back in disbelief as the curse technique reversal red flared and launched them like ragdolls. Ajax, shaken, demanded answers. How can you still absorb energy? The suppression device should have neutralized you. With a grin that shimmered like cracked code, Alex replied, "The shifting frequencies gave me trouble, but I can still control IT if I push everything I've got." As tension climbed, Ajax issued a desperate command to attack with matter-dissolving lightsabers. Makari, fast as glitching lightning, struck again, but Alex countered her every move, casually conversing mid-fight. "What's wrong, Ajax? Scared I'll reveal the truth? That your eternal army has been deceived fighting with half memories, battling mindless husks instead of true enemies?" Ajax snapped, trying to silence him, but it was too late. The others had heard. Doubt fractured their unity as they turned, demanding, "What have you been hiding from us?" So, our real mission is not to protect Earth, but to protect the birth of a new celestial? That single question shattered the battlefield's unity like glass under cosmic pressure. Doubt surged through the Eternals as the white-haired anomaly floated above, his grin laced with cruelty and challenge. Ajax's voice sliced the tension. "We deal with him now, or we won't live to talk later." But before a strategy could form, the mutant mocked them all, his words like a spark to dry code. "This is your only chance." He raised a hand symbol, twisting, aura pulsing, and then came the phrase that turned every soul cold. Domain expansion, infinite void. In unison, they shouted his name, horror blooming in their eyes as data from the leader's files surged back into memory. The battlefield was no longer theirs, it was his, and they had seconds before collapse. With a single precise hand sign, he unleashed a psychic surge so powerful it froze everything in its path, forcing all abilities to become absolute and inescapable. But the Eternals had a counter. They scattered into a formation, channeling complex rune circuits that funneled their energy into Druig, turning him into a force far beyond his usual limit, possibly even beyond Ikari's. Druig's mind override clashed head-on with Alex's infinite void, crackling with domain-shattering force as the two powers collided and canceled each other out. Just as relief swept over them, the white-haired figure blinked from existence and reappeared beside Fastoshi's palm brimming with a silent purple sphere. Without warning, he pressed it into Fastos' chest, and in an instant, the sphere shredded the armor like paper, sending corrosive purple energy seeping into the wound and unraveling his form from within unstoppable, merciless, and precise. Stop! All the Eternals lunged at Alex, but with one effortless step, he vanished and reappeared, gripping Fastos by the head while flashing a smug grin. Weren't you feeling pretty smug just now? Their fury exploded. Let him go! But Alex didn't flinch. Black and red lightning surged from his palm, power spiraling beyond anything they'd seen. In a pulse of overwhelming force, Fastos' head shattered in his grasp. As chaos erupted around him, a cold system voice echoed in his mind. Technique reversal. Red experience +1. Skill leveled up. With the technique now beyond its original form, Alex stood still as new knowledge rushed into him. Red had evolved. The once equal fight had tipped. He wasn't just catching up, he was breaking past the limits. Even with the heightened perception of his level 4/6 eyes, Alex could barely handle the flood of memories, but even a fragment supercharged his reversal technique, Red, to terrifying new levels. The Eternals, once able to shrug off Red's direct hits, now faced something else entirely. The power had grown so volatile it couldn't be contained. Black and red lightning surged around Alex like a living storm, blasting outward with unstoppable repulsion, shattering the very island beneath him and forcing the ocean back in a massive 100-meter sphere. Bolts slammed into the sea, vaporizing it by the ton, each strike a violent rupture in reality itself. As Makari lunged with her disintegration blade, the energy lashed out and hurled her back bleeding, while even the seasoned energy wielder shouted the truth. They had to stop Alex now, or it was over. For some reason, his power keeps increasing. Ajax's mind erased. Alex's strength had no ceiling, accelerating with every breath. Was it truly possible for a mutant offspring of the Deviansto reach such a state? Before her stood the white-haired mutant, wrapped in black and red lightning, radiating an energy that eclipsed even their mightiest warrior. Worset was still rising. Without hesitation, she ordered the Eternals to strike before he fully adapted. Makari surged forward faster than ever, weaving through the chaos, determined to land the blow. But as her light sword neared his body, his gaze locked with hers. In that instant, an unimaginable repulsive force erupted, not accidental but deliberate, shattering everything in its radius. At ground zero, Makari's armor cracked under the surge, her body collapsing in an instant beneath the sheer magnitude of rising power. She was hurled back at a velocity that tore through the sky like a thunderclap, slamming into the sprite and reducing its hand to shards from the sheer kinetic overload. In that instant, Alex cracked into level 4 of red power coursing through him, raw and unfiltered. Red wasn't just an upgrade, it was an evolution, with strength already twice that of blue, and blue could manifest black holes. Lightning danced around him uncontrollably as he pushed past limits, energy surging. 3 infinity stones spiraled out, pulsing with elemental might, their energy feeding into him like a living conduit. With a wicked grin and arm raised, Alex summoned chaos. Black and red lightning merging above his palm, coalescing into a core that shimmered with unstable light from deep obsidian to starborn white. The cursed energy flipped the spectrum. Blue became darkness. Red transformed into the radiance of collapse. What hovered in Alex's hand wasn't an attack. It was a star dying in real time, a cosmic singularity reborn in his grasp. Without meaning to, Alex unleashed such overwhelming repulsion that the ocean vanished for miles, laying bare the seafloor like a wound in the world. The resulting shockwaves smashed into nations and even pulled the Ancient One from the void to stop a catastrophe, her gaze fixed on Alex with a knowing, uneasy smile. I knew this would happen. Far away, Odin paused mid-sentence, eyes locked on Midgard, whispering, "What a terrifying young man." While stunned observers gaped at their shattered instruments, unable to process the readings. Before the blazing descent of technique reversal, Red! Ajax shouted for the Red Hulk serum. Eternals stabbed glowing red vials into their veins, bodies surging with cosmic gamma fusion, strength multiplying, but against this living supernova, they were ants under a collapsing sky. as space itself tore open and the tidal force roared forward like the end of reason. They knew survival was no longer an option. Under the crushing, repulsive force, only one move remained: pour every ounce of their energy into Cersei so she could endure and strike back. Light burst like a cosmic flare from each Eternal, surging into her, a storm of power transferring in desperate defiance. Cersei, eyes wide with agony, screamed, "No, don't! We can all make it!" But the sacrifice had begun. Sprite's fragile frame disintegrated first, vanishing into red mist. Then, Phastos and Druig were crushed into twisted remnants of what once was. One by one, the others fell Gilgamesh. Thena, king obliterated without resistance as the falling supernova crashed down. The impact unleashed a blinding, repulsive shockwave, shredding seawater into atomic fragments and painting the ocean white with raw force. The earth quaked for hundreds of kilometers of pulse born not of nature, but from a force crafted by intent. Coastal cities trembled, fissures slicing the streets as light surged from the ocean's abyss, while crowds stared skyward, powerless before a threat beyond comprehension. They were nothing but whispers in a storm, praying for salvation. In the heart of it all, the Supreme Sorcerer narrowed her gaze, eyes cutting through dimensions to face the white-haired figure levitating in the void. "How long has it been?" she murmured. Ancient hands weaving signs that fractured reality like glass, spreading across vast distances in a heartbeat. As the ripples reached Alex, his senses flared, space twisted, reflections multiplied. A mirror dimension. He wasn't shocked. With power rivaling that of the Allfathers, Alex knew the clash between him and the Supreme Sorcerer could collapse the world if unleashed unchecked. She, ever the Guardian, sealed them within this mirrored cage. While the aura of another unsteady, flickering in crimson lingered in the center, Alex tuned it out, channeling the focus of his 6 eyes to decode the shifting walls around him. Magic had once eluded him, but now, face to face with the technique in real time, the opportunity to unravel its code had finally come. Amid the swirling energies of the mirror dimension, Alex stood still, his 6 eyes flashing as streams of spatial code unraveled before him, decoding secrets layer by layer untilting. The system confirmed his breakthrough. Mirror Dimension LV1 acquired. A grin lit up his face, but the moment cracked under the weight of rage through the collapsing tide of the red. A single, blood-drenched figure emerged, snarling hatred with cosmic fury. The last of the Eternals, now fused with power beyond control, her form warped into a crimson behemoth, charged with unstable golden energy, screamed vengeance. Her sanity gone, her body a burning contradiction of collapsing flesh and reforging power. She hovered more force than form, vowing to erase Alex, not just from existence, but from memory itself. She blasted forward, breaking the sound barrier hundreds of times over. Alex appeared before Cersei in a blink, energy pulsing as white and black spiraled into a light purple sphere in his palm, something new, unstable, powerful. Without hesitation, he struck. Cersei dodged, but too late. The sphere collided with her head, harder than adamantium, and it cracked, shattered completely. Her fury, her fear, her existence gone in an instant. As Alex absorbed the fading energy around him, a message pulsed through his mind. Energy absorption experience +1. Skill leveled up. A surge followed his first level 5 ability. Now, within 20 meters, nearly all energy bent to his will. Within 10, he could shape it as his own. Energy from the void surged through his body, upgrading every cell, fortifying him. His strength skyrocketed, already boosted by the Satoru Gojo template and pure absorption. Now it climbed beyond recognition. But even with this godlike force, he wasn't yet on par with beings like the Hulk or Eternals. Not yet. Now at energy absorption, level 5. Alex Locke's raw physical force rivals the base. Hulk without even relying on enhancement techniques, but that's just scratching the surface. An overwhelming surge of data floods his consciousness like a digital tidal wave, threatening even his soul as the 6 eyes struggle just to contain the mental fallout. Time loses, meaning as he battles to process this tsunami of cosmic knowledge. Then, with a subtle thought, the world freezes molecular motion, halts, air chills toward absolute zero, and Alex stands as the epicenter of absolute energy control. No magic, no biology, no force except cosmic level anomaly-esque can bypass his grasp now, because Alex isn't just absorbing energy anymore, he's rewriting the laws of it. 3 Infinity Stones spun in orbit around him, radiating a storm of raw energy that Alex now absorbed with surgical precision. What once overwhelmed him, he now mastered. With each controlled pulse, his power surged and the template fusion climbed. 14%, 15%, 16%, until bam, 20%. At that exact threshold, a rupture of new code unlocked. Unknown wings white. A blinding rush of spatial data streamed into his mind, effortlessly processed, and in a burst of transcendence, radiant white wings unfurled from his back, crowned by a glowing halo. The atmosphere bent with phase power as Alex floated midair. His strength newly evolved, yet Levi, one was only a whisper of what these wings could become. Compared to the older Black Wings, this was a clean upgrade, but still nowhere near his full potential. If he could just push to LV3, maybe even surpass the force known as Accelerator, then he'd truly grasp the future encoded in these celestial wings. As Alex Locke continued adapting to the surging paradox energy within him using his 6 eyes, a shimmering portal cracked open and from it stepped the Sorcerer Supreme. Even as reality trembled, Alex now stood as an equal to cosmic legends, his body humming with power that rivaled Skyfather's. The Supreme Shield held back the freezing void around them, but her eyes flickered with awe and confusion. She couldn't read him, not even with the Time Stone. Alex's strength had just spiked again, defying all logic. With calm force, she warned him. Neutralizing the Eternals had drawn the attention of the Celestials' beings of absolute scale, each wielding power spanning full universes. No matter his evolution, not even he could stand against them. Her voice remained steady. If he wanted to survive Judgment, he had to leave this Earth, this reality, and vanish beyond dimensional reach. If they sentence you to collapse, you won't be able to resist their ruling. The Ancient One's tone cut like a blade through silence, but her true fear wasn't Judgment, it was the coming storm between Alex and the Celestials. His growth was uncharted, so rapid that she suspected he might be the echo of a being from beyond dimensional logic itself. She couldn't trace his future, couldn't anchor his timeline 8, bent rules, broke observation, radiated paradox. If Alex clashed with the Celestials, it wouldn't be a battle, it'd be a cosmic rupture. Either they would suppress and erase him, or he'd unleash overwhelming force and disintegrate the Celestials across the entire multiverse. And somehow, impossibly, she felt the latter was written into fate. Her instincts, honed across shattered eras, screamed it. But the Celestials, flawed as they were, kept the universal balance. If they vanished, reality might follow. So she made her move not to fight, but to redirect the chaos. Eject Alex from this universe before the paradox ignites. Portal level 4. Decision made. Alex heard her words and narrowed his eyes. The weight of infinite futures folding into his next step. The Ancient One had a point after neutralizing the Eternals. Alex had invited the silent gaze of the Celestials. Skyfather-level power wasn't enough. He knew it. The Celestials could arrive at any time, and staying in this universe was a gamble with cosmic odds. He asked the Ancient One the only question that mattered: how long? Her reply, pulsing with faint green from the Time Stone: "You're safe for a month. A countdown. 1 month to push Portal to level 4. 1 month to claim dimensional freedom." With that, even against the Celestials, he wouldn't be cornered, he'd have a way out. A single thread of choice in a multiverse of judgment. Do you like this personality? Alex's mind sparked like a live wire. That secret universe between Marvel and DC was real. Then it wasn't just theory anymore. It was a backdoor to cosmic evolution. He saw it now. Artifacts like mother boxes pulsing with raw multiversal current, energy leagues beyond the Infinity Stones. He wasn't aiming to be powerful in one world, he was plotting to outgrow them all. If he could get his portal skill to level 4, even cosmic juggernauts like the Celestials would be nothing but temporary obstacles. He could blink across dimensions, ambush Stryker in his lair, and flatten the worm with a single stomp. But escape wasn't enough. He'd leave behind a parting gift, something they'd never forget. Multiversal travel wasn't a fantasy anymore, it was the next move. With the power of interdimensional travel now coursing through him like a cosmic circuit, Alex Locke returns to his seaside villa, a battered sanctuary dampened by the shockwaves of multiversal war. Amid the wreckage, Hollywood glamour helps restore order, but Alex's focus sharpens on mastery. Portals blaze into existence, crackling with reality-bending light. As the system chimes confirmation of his growing skill each, flash a step toward transcending limitation. Multitasking with the grace of a quantum god, Alex forms a stable gateway, revealing Tony at work, already leagues ahead with nanotech breakthroughs. Behind him, a fluid suit pulses with promise. The multiverse is shifting. Logic twisting and Alex, the living code, just might be the key to stabilize it all. Startled by the voice behind him, Tony spun around, dropping his tool only to breathe out in relief when he saw Alex emerge from a glowing portal. "You nearly gave me a heart attack," he grumbled. But Alex just smirked, offering a half-hearted sorry before revealing something that instantly ignited Tony's curiosity. From a shimmering pocket dimension, Alex pulled out the lifeless forms of the Eternals' bodies forged by the Celestials, composed of biomechanical alloys that shimmered with energy potential. "They conduct power like nothing else and are nearly indestructible," Alex explained, eyes gleaming. "You could build something unstoppable." Tony's eyes lit up as if he just found a new arc reactor. This was no longer about the scare, it was about the future. Tony's eyes sparkled with excitement. These bodies held unimaginable potential for his tech, but that spark quickly vanished as he froze, staring at the fallen forms. His voice trembled. You neutralized all the Eternals on Earth? The Eternals near, limitless beings forged by the Celestials, strong enough to disintegrate nations now, scattered like broken statues. Alex, somehow, had done the impossible. Even for Tony, who had seen the edge of reality, this was beyond logic. In a surreal twist, Alex handed over the corpses in exchange for an infinite stream of Iron Man suits, then vanished into his training. Days blurred. While basking under the sun's rays, Alex suddenly heard it. Portal experience +1. Congratulations, your skill portal has leveled up. A torrent of cosmic data surged through Alex's mind, unlocking the raw mechanics of existence itself, space, energy, and the weave between worlds. In that flash of insight, the portal hit level 4, and with it came omniversal reach, a gateway to any dimension, fueled by either mana or sheer energy. Alex's lips curled into a sharp grin. Stryker, here I come. No longer confined to coordinates or realms, he could now bend space to his will, tear through dimensions, and materialize anywhere even without knowing the way. The portal's mass threshold exploded. It could swallow a mountain whole. More than that, he could forge long-lasting rifts, storing energy within the portal itself to keep it open indefinitely, untouched by time or decay unless shattered by force. With the veil between worlds peeled back and dimensional logic rewritten, Alex stood at the edge of every universe, one thought away from unleashing transcendence. Do you like this personality? After absorbing the torrent of forbidden knowledge, Alex Locke stood before the system panel as reality twisted around him like digital smoke. His form pulsed with immense power, Gojo's precision, Accelerator's chaos now part of him. Energy absorption surged within a 20-meter radius, feeding into his command of 6 eyes that shimmered like golden scanners from another dimension. Blue collapsed space into impossible gravity wells. Red detonated repulsion waves like cosmic punches, and purple sliced through dimensions with imaginary mass. With infinity, space itself bent to his will, slowing every threat to a crawl. Vector manipulation sparked at his fingertips, weaving forces like threads, while black and white wings of unknown phase energy shimmered with paradox. Portals cracked open to any corner of the multiverse, and at the center of it all, unlimited Void Alex became untouchable, a flood of infinite signals paralyzing minds. As his fractured selves buzzed with unstable echoes, one truth burned into his soul. He was now both gatekeeper and glitch, the last defense against the collapse of logic itself. Alex channels raw energy to boost his accelerator template, integration climbing to 28% as power surges through him, his eyes flicker with determination. At 40%, a new skill awaits. Scanning the arsenal he's earned, pride sparks a testament to sweat and stubborn will. Energy absorption Prime 5 already places him on a new plane of existence, but Prime 6 is the real game changer. Mass energy conversion, bending matter itself into obedient energy, transcending cosmic laws like a creator god. No realm could cage him then, no dimension could starve him of power. Yet LV6 sits on a far horizon, experience gain slowing to a crawl, each fragment of progress hard won. Still, Alex smirks with quiet resolve, system at his back, fully adapted. His focus sharpens time for a chat with the elusive Colonel. A thought twists reality. Karmic link igniting, and space itself parts to reveal a waiting Portal Land invitation to shape destiny by sheer force of will. Alex stepped through the portal and emerged into a swamp so thick with underbrush, even a trained soldier wouldn't notice what lurked beneath, but the 6 eyes saw everything. Buried below lay a massive military base, and deep inside, the cold gaze of Colonel Stryker. Space itself trembled with mutant-suppressing fields trying to keep Alex out, but they were just delaying the inevitable collapse of Stryker's fate. Raising his finger, a red and white singularity flared at the tip, radiating overwhelming repulsion that disintegrated the swamp and tore the armored walls apart before even being released. Curse technique reversal red. Alarms screamed through the hidden fortress, warning that the living paradox had arrived. In the command room, cloaked in flickering screens and metallic dread, Stryker turned to the only mind who might make sense of it and demanded, "Dr. Reed, what's going on?" But the answer was already etched across every trembling timeline. Alex Locke was here to collapse everything built to stop him. Fantastic's eyes widened in disbelief as the external footage played what once was. A secret military stronghold now lay in total ruin, its masterful camouflage completely irrelevant. Suspended high above the wreckage, the white-haired mutant hovered effortlessly, an ominous red and white singularity swirling at his fingertip, radiating a force that bent reality itself. The mutant, Fantastic hissed, instantly recognizing the man who had unraveled every strategy he once thought flawless. He had always prided himself on his brilliance, A mind refined even further by cosmic radiation unmatched, unchallenged, supreme. But now, that unshakable confidence cracked. The presence of this being, this anomaly who seemed to mock logic with every breath, shattered the illusion of control. As Chapter 89, Escape Plan, unfolds, even a mind like Fantastic's begins to doubt if intellect alone can survive the raw code of collapse. They called on his genius to forge a weapon that could bend space itself and crack the white-haired mutant's perfect guard. But even after the speedster's blade of dissolving light failed to neutralize the unstoppable reflexes, it became clear this mutant was devouring power, like a black hole, limitless and rising. So they gambled everything on the Red Hulk serum, fusing it with suppression tech and space warping force, hoping their serum-born champions could finally shatter the paradox of strength growing beyond control. But again, they failed. The white-haired mutant's evolution shattered all expectations. Mr. Fantastic, for the first time, felt utterly lost. As he stood frozen, Colonel Stryker's voice cracked the tension. "Dr. Reed, should we run?" But Mr. Fantastic's response was firm no retreat. With grim resolve, he ordered the release of the unstable Red Hulk to stall for time, while preparing the untested parallel world warp device for escape. Doubt hung thick as Ivan Vanko warned of catastrophic failure. But before hesitation could grow, the mutated genius known only as the Leader's Mind, now pulsing with gamma-boosted intellect, snapped back with defiance. "No. Do you like this personality?" Trapped by the unstoppable white-haired mutant in fortified walls, they gamble everything on a single shot, praying the Red Hulk's unleashed rage and the warp device work in sync to save them. The leader and Mr. Fantastic shuffle, scattered plans, voices tight with resolve. If Red Hulk can keep the mutant busy, they might just slip away through the swirling gate to another world, and maybe even wound the monster badly enough to finish him off later. Colonel Stryker, caught between fear and hope, slams the panel button, awakening a Crimson Titan whose raw cosmic energy and gamma fury melt steel like wax. As the beast storms free, the team races down shadowed corridors to the spiral gateway, hearts pounding with one desperate hope. Escape the mutant's pursuit before reality itself catches up. As the gateway to the parallel universe shimmered with unstable light, they knew escape meant safe time and that white-haired mutant's overwhelming force couldn't breach another reality. Outside, a red-white singularity pulsed with impossible power, collapsing everything it touched into oblivion. With a flick of Alex's fingers, a miniature supernova streaked downward, disintegrating the military base as if it were paper before flame. Reinforced metal walls and even shards of adamantium twisted like liquid under the crushing repulsive force. The Level 4 Curse Technique Reversal Red hinted at the deeper cosmic dread of the imaginary technique. Purple, wielding might to shatter space itself. Shockwaves roared outward, turning forests and swamps into a barren scar of ruin, leaving behind a massive crater that seemed to mock the earth itself. Anyone stumbling upon this hollowed wound might believe a meteor had struck, yet it was merely a careless flick from Alexandre, echo of limitless power. And at the heart of that void, nothing remained. The base and every soul within neutralized in an instant, without even a whisper left to mourn them. Mere mortals, facing a god, are powerless. Now, Alex appeared as nothing short of a god, towering at the heart of a smoldering crater where only a single room defied annihilation, a battered shelter shielded by rippling spatial waves. Inside, a shaken genius stared wide-eyed at dozens of extinguished arc reactors, gasping, "What kind of power is this? It's on par with a small supernova. We must arrive and the Red Hulk can't hold him off for long." Beyond the ruined chamber, a colossal crimson figure still stood skin-shattered, flesh stripped away by the red-white singularity's crushing force, yet stubbornly regenerating. Glowing arc reactors fused into his very cells, feeding his relentless revival. In Alex's perception, the fusion ran so deep the reactors regenerated alongside the beast himself, pulsing with raw energy. At that moment, Alex wasn't merely power incarnate, he was living paradox, an unstoppable singularity gazing down on creation like judgment itself. Chapter 90 ignites with the release of the ultimate Red Hulkan unstoppable force, born from pure fury and cutting-edge fusion tech. Engineered as the deadliest weapon by unparalleled minds, he erupts into a storm of arc reactor power, cosmic rays, and gamma intensity, transforming into a molten war god mid-flight. As the ground trembles beneath his leap, Red Hulk targets the skyborn figure white hair with a blaze that eclipses the sun. But Alex, now at energy absorption level 5, doesn't flinch. With a smirk and the word interesting, he rockets forward to meet the Inferno head-on. The moment they collide, it's not just a battle, it's a seismic clash between evolution and annihilation. Boom, boom! The skies detonated with a frenzy of crimson and black-red lightning, tearing through the heavens like a war between God's Severy Blast, a cataclysm that reshaped the land for miles. From the eye of the storm, a red titan was launched like a meteor, crashing into the earth with enough force to carve a crater the size of a battlefield. His arm, broken and leaking radioactive gold, regenerated in seconds as he roared back into the fight, but Alex calm, calculating, crowned with glowing six eyes. She had already decoded his enemy. This monster wasn't just brute force. He was a fusion of sentinel systems, burning arc reactors, and eternal tech laced into indestructible adamantium. Energy flared, reality shook, and as the landscape twisted under the weight of their clash, it was clear this wasn't just a battle. It was the collision of logic and rage, of paradox and power, in a world unraveling at the seams. An unstoppable artificial juggernaut, said to surpass both the Hulk and the Eternals, charges with monstrous intent, but Alex doesn't flinch. Instead, exhilaration surges through him. This is the perfect test for his level 5 energy absorption. As radiant white wings unfurl and red-black lightning coils around him like a divine storm, Alex ascends into his white wing form, half angel, half anomaly. The Red Hulk hurtles forward, but with a single devastating punch, Alex cracks his metallic skull like porcelain. Not stopping there, he plants a palm on the Titan's chest, unleashing a red-white singularity that catapults the monster across the landscape at hypersonic velocity, gouging a scar across the earth. Thrilled by the clash, Alex Grinzit's the ultimate stress relief. And as Stryker's crew attempts to vanish between dimensions, Alex, now a level 4 teleportation master, knows one thing for certain. There's nowhere in the multiverse they can run that he won't reach. With a blink across warped space, Alex appeared at the crash site, where the Red Hulk lay shattered, his chest crushed beyond repair by the red-white singularity. As the beast's body struggled to regenerate, Alex's arm, charged with unearthly force, drove deep into the Hulk's chest and ripped free a fused adamantium eternal bone. Golden blood burst forth, only to be devoured by the swirling black-red aura around him. Discarding the relic, Alex stepped onto the collapsing Titan, his white hair glowing, his frame deceptively calm. One foot pinned the Hulk's chest, the other crushed his leg. With a brutal twist, Alex tore the limb away entirely. The monster's body tried to heal, but each regeneration was met with immediate destruction. A brutal cycle of collapse. Overwhelmed by agony and a spiraling mind, even the Red Hulkency, a force of raw fury, trembled with fear. He fought with everything he had, muscles straining, but Alex's grip was unbreakable, absolute. After countless trials, Alex had proven it. His raw strength alone now eclipsed even the mightiest forces. But one last test remained. With deliberate calm, Alex raised his foot, releasing his hold. Freed, the Red Hulk surged forward in a sonic boom, tearing through stone with legs reborn, trying to outrun fate. Yet before he could escape, reality bent again. An explosion of energy formed binding chains that wrapped him mid-leap, locking his indestructible frame in place. No matter his fury, not one chain gave. Then came the true terror. A vortex formed from nothing, draining his limitless power like sand slipping into a void.